ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणौ महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम्. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Mystical meaning I have given to you before. Here in Balakanda, verse number 12, and after verse Chopais come. And in that process of Chopais, we are at this stage, which I am now going to recite to you. The topic is, Tulsidas Ji is giving a prologue to his composition of Ramayana, an introductory. And in that itself, there is a lot of mystical insight. Presently, I have focused my attention on giving you the mystical insight behind the poetic talent of Tulsidas. So I'm not rushing to the stories, but rushing to the mystical meaning behind the verses. Gai bahor garib nevaju, saral sabal sahib raghuraju, budhabar nahi hari jasa asajani, karahi puneet sufala nijabani. The language is village language, not classical Sanskrit appreciated by scholars. But it's important to understand, if you are giving a teaching, you give a teaching that can be understood by people, giving their language. Instead of saying Yajnavalkya, say Jagabalik. So with that type of philosophical insight, Tulsidas Ji moves on. Sri Rama brings to his devotee that which the devotee has lost. Gayi hui vastu ko fir prapt karana. Object that has been lost, bring it back. Now it can be interpreted in many levels. Sometimes you are too agitated, under stress, and put things in disorder. Your passport is put somewhere else, right near your own feet, and you don't see it. Turn your mind to Rama, Garib Nevaju, and suddenly your mind relaxes. Oh, I found it. And it is traditional and customary for people, when they lose something, they recite certain stotras, even Hanuman Chalisa, and a miracle occurs. Suddenly the object is found very easily. But that's at the lowest gross plane. Another level of understanding, you have lost your good quality, your spiritual nature. And as you go into bhakti, Ram bhakti, you begin to regain the spirituality of your soul. Put it into another level, Everyone has lost one's essential nature. Essential nature is always there. The sun is always there. But some clouds come and the sun is lost. The losing of the cloud of the sun is just similar. Sun is never lost. And how can a cloud has the power to affect the sun? But from practical point of view, your view of the sun is shut out. The mind creates that due to ignorance. And by turning your mind to Rama Bhakti, that which you have lost, your essential nature, that's revealed to you. That's the implication of Sabko Sanamati De Bhagavan. Sanamati means mati, you're cutting the explanation short. It means your understanding, your viveka buddhi. If you have developed viveka buddhi, it is simple to realize I am Brahman, simplest fact. But if you have not, it is the most difficult thing to allow your mind to make that statement, I am Brahman. The moment your mind makes that statement, the question arises. The mind asks the question, but why did this Brahman create this terrible world? You are Brahman, created all these terrible things. What are you going to gain by that? I'm giving you a crude interpretation. But the reality is that all this creation of the world is not reality, it's Maya. Just like in your dream, the entire dream creation arises with past, present, future, and with all details. You have adversity and prosperity. Good things happen to you as well as terrible things happen to you. All manifest in your dream. And during the dream experience, you lose the awareness of who are you. You are lost. If you develop love of God, this dream-like world is negated. You are awakened from the long dream of the world process. And so that which was lost, you have found it. So try to understand just simple word of, by doing japa of Ram, loving God, you can gain what you have lost. And all this implication is involved in that gain what you have lost. And profounder level, you gain which you have never lost. Because gain and loss is a matter of ignorance and removing ignorance. Ignorance is there, you have lost it. A veil of darkness has come in and you lose the sun. You remove the veil of darkness and you gain the sun. The gaining and losing is relative terms. With this understanding, those who are endowed with purity of intellect, they do yash varnan. They describe the glory of God. Yash literally means fame, kirti. The whole world is like a great scripture, a scripture of wondrous verses describing the glory of God. See the versifications. A rose puts its lips, sings the verse in one way. Lotus does it in another way. Birds do it in their own way. Peacock unfurls its feathers and as if sings the glory of God in another way. The whole world is vibhuti of God. So, those who are buddhiman, those who have subtle intellect, find the whole world inspiring. Verses after verses shower on the head, and you are inundated by it. Not only from outside, from within your own body, the manner in which your physical body is maintained by vital forces, the manner in which your mind and senses operate, the miracle of brain and its functions, all these are singing the praises of God. Because nothing can easily be handled by human intellect. But all these are handled in the divine plan without your thinking, without your worry. Worry, etc., that comes in life due to ignorance. And you remove the ignorance and all this goes away. So, knowing this, Bhutabar nahi hari, jas as jani, who have a purity of intellect, they sing the glory of God, singing the karahi puneet sufal nijabani, your speech, the verbalizations of your thoughts, they become fruitful, safal, purposeful, effective. Otherwise, they are in vain. Countless words you go on saying. That's how Bakasur was in the Mahabharata. Bak, 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 bak. But, it's like Dhammapada says, it's in vain using countless thousands of words. Better it is to use few words that do their effect on human personality. So, in a subtle way, he is distinguishing his composition as different from the stylish compositions of the scholars. Now, singing Lord Hari's Yash, that points its finger to 6 great attributes of God. God is called Bhagavan. Bhaga means attributes. 6 attributes are Aishwarya, lordliness, glorious expressions. The whole world is filled with lordliness. When the sun shines, how lordly that Lord. The sky spans before you, how lordly. Countless stars twinkle, how lordly. All these are fashioned and manipulated in a divine way with tremendous intelligence, omniscience, omnipotence behind the world. How lordly. Next attribute of God is dharma. Yato dharmas tato jaya. Wherever there is dharma, righteous value of life, there is victory. To be pursuing dharma in a profound way, what it implies, lead your life according to integral yoga. Your actions should be karma yoga. Actions be designed in accordance with karma yoga, so that actions go on purifying your heart. Otherwise, your actions go on rendering your heart muddy, impure. And that's the big lesson to be learned in life. Life is a tremendous opportunity, an act of divine blessedness. And by simple disciplines, satsanga and japa, you can bring in your life sensitivity and a sensitive insight into how to do your duties. Even in difficult circumstances, when you have to fight against something erroneous or something elusive, even that fight is a part of your karma yoga. I'm not promoting fighting nature. Your feelings should turn into bhakti yoga. When any occasion of love, even if you love a small pet, must realize behind that love is God's ray of love. Because the ultimate source of love is God Himself. To love and to be loved, that's the human urge. You always want to find something that you can love and find it perfect, as well as you want to be loved. Both urges are fulfilled in divine love. Rama in your heart, and you have found the object of infinite love. And you find yourself before a divine mother whose love is boundless. To love and be loved. So, explaining dharma, action turns into karma yoga. Feelings, sentiments actions turn to karma yoga, feelings turn into bhakti yoga, and willing aspect of mind. The mind functions with thoughts, desires, how to control and bring about concentration, attention, meditation in your mind. That's called Raj Yoga. And then you come into the Jnana Yoga, which is the highest function within you, how to understand who am I. With that you reach the climax. With understanding, your life has reached its fulfillment of purpose at a climax level. And that's what generally prayers are performed. Sabko sanamati de Bhagavan. O Bhagavan, give every individual that mati, that intuitive understanding, which reveals Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, which reveals the highest truths and puts an end to all sorrows. You must realize all these highest blessings are given in common words. But that has been the blessing of sages. They filled the language with the highest philosophy. And ultimately, people wander around in their life and come back to it very fast. But if literature is not so rich, then it takes a lot of time. So out of 6 attributes, I have talked about Aishwarya, lordliness, Dharma, righteousness. The 3rd attribute is Yasha. Yasha is fame. Fame is another aspect of Aishwarya. Yasha means the whole world is speaking of the glory of God. The breeze is whispering into your ears. Don't worry. The cosmic source of healing and grace is with you. This is allegorical writing. Literally, they don't say that. The rays of the sun constantly shower upon you divine energy. All these, the rays of the sun, the breeze, the water flowing through the rivers and lakes and waterfalls, and surging in the ocean. They are all singing the praises of God, the glory of God. God is very famous. His fame is infinite. Next point is Shri. Shri refers to Davi Sampat. Shri refers to fortune, wealth. God is the giver of material wealth, but material wealth is of no use if it does not promote spiritual wealth within you. If on the basis of wealth you become more and more involved in Jnana Yajna, more involved in satsanga, doing good to others, acts of charity, generosity, build up good qualities, then you are really prosperous. With material wealth as well as, and more so, with the spiritual wealth of fearlessness, compassion, humility, ability to control anger and hate and turn them into love. And think of all the good qualities, virtuous qualities. They go to form the garland on the head, on the bodies of gods. Davi Sampat. And that's what we call Shri. In daily talks, daily parlance, address a name with Shri, implying, may that name be blessed with this, with Davi Sampat. And that type of heart that wishes good to all, that's the source of all divine wealth. And that wealth is so boundless, you cannot imagine. Earthly wealth is actually a torture. That we always go after it. It doesn't mean that we are condemning it. Earthly wealth is a means to an end. If the purpose behind your wealth is to make yourself more generous, to use your life's opportunity for enlightenment, then wealth is most wonderful. Otherwise, generally, Lakshmi is shown in villages riding on an owl. Prosperity comes and you become an owl. On the other hand, the positive aspect, prosperity comes and you become a Garuda. So Lakshmi Devi and Vishnu go together and the vehicle is Garuda. Intuitive knowledge. The next attribute is Gyan. Gyan is knowledge, absolute knowledge, infinite knowledge. That's the nature of God. Sixth attribute is Vairagya, absolute detachment. Simple illustration is the sky. The sky is absolutely detached from clouds. At the same time, the detachment does not have any type of a hatred or dislike or dissension. The sky has no hatred towards clouds, no dissension, no disharmony. Clouds can come in whatever shape or size, in whatever form, thundering, lightning, or simply sailing in a soft manner. And the sky says, come, come, welcome. Don't take it literally. And that's called Vairagya. The beginning of Vairagya is constantly reminding your mind of the transient nature of things. Anityam asukham lokam. Imam prapya bhajasvamam. All things that you are so much hankering after, try to bring to your mind that simple truth. They are not going to be with you. They are transient details in your life. Work for them. But understand that that's not the real goal. They are transient. And what is not transient? Loving God and melting in God and discovering I am Brahman. I am the highest self. So, Tulsidas ji says, those writings, poems, literature, those writings that bring out kirti of God, his yash, thereby implying his divine attributes, which I have described to you. Those writings, they are really profound, effective, purposeful. Otherwise, there are so many writings, books and volumes of writings, and they don't match up with the scriptural writings like Ramayana, Gita, Upanishad. Tehi bal main raghupati gun gatha, kahi hau nai ram pad matha, munin param prathama hari ki rati gai, tehi mag chalat sugam mohi bhai. Sustained by the strength of Bhagavat Kripa, grace of God, and bowing down to the lotus feet of Sri Rama, I am going to sing the glory of Lord Raghunath, Lord Rama. With this mental disposition, Valmiki and Vyasa and other sages, they have already sung the glory of the Lord, and I am following their path. And therefore, my movement will be easy for me. Want to understand that spiritual writings, they never grasp all the glory of God. Valmiki wrote the Ramayana. But does Ramayana of Valmiki contain all the glory of God? There is always room for successive writers. But just like someone builds a building, a wonderful foundation, walls, and one story has come up, his sons and his followers will build the second story. And their followers will create the third story. They wouldn't say that our forefathers have already done it and nobody can excel them. But no, they go on excelling their forefathers. And the point is that forefathers and their souls are happy about it. You glorify your forefathers if you excel them. Try to understand the subtle point behind it. You please God if you compete with God. God is gracious. Well, I'm going to be more gracious. God is generous. I'm going to be more generous. All these are allegorical statements. But when you understand, you begin to enjoy a subtle divine taste, katharas, satsangaras. I'm not talking about rasam. But the rasam word has come from the same rasa. Ati apar je saritabar, jaun nipase tukaran, chari pipilik kau, param laghu, binusham parahi jahi. Think of crossing an ocean, vast ocean, So difficult, impossible for ordinary person. But a great king, which refers to Rama himself, builds a bridge. So once the bridge is built, even a small creature, pipilika, even little squirrel, can cross over the bridge easily. Similarly, his proposal to create Ramayana, he wants God to give him grace. And that Ramayana will be like a bridge. And if you follow Ramayana and its teachings, and the bhakti develops in your heart, then movement to liberation brings to you a royal road to success. The ordinary road and royal road, in ordinary road there are always thorns. And even though you are putting your foot on a very level ground, you suddenly slip into a marsh. So there is a tremendous difficulty. Royal road, close your eyes and run. And you are safe. Follow integral yoga in a perfect harmony. You are following the royal road. The teachings given in Ramayana are the royal road. Follow, develop bhakti. Mukti bhakti ki dasi hai. Once bhakti has developed, devotion to God has developed, liberation will come to you without your effort. And when it comes, you may not even know it. Then who cares? So that's called royal path. यही प्रकार बल बन ही दिखाई करिहऊँ रघुपति कथा सुहाई व्यास आदि कवि पुंगव नाना जिन सादर हरि सुजस बखाना. With this strength, spiritual strength in my mind, I will compose the most enchanting story of Sri Rama. Great poets and sages have already composed Ramayana, such as Vyasa and Valmiki. Charan kamal bandau tinakere, purvahu sakal manorath mere, kalike kavin karau paranama, jin barane raghupati gunagrama. I offer adorations to all those poets. He's referring to spiritual poets, Valmiki, Vyasa, and so forth. May those great poets, may they fulfill my aspiration. May they shower their blessings on me so that I am successful in composing Ramcharitmanas. Also, I adore poets who are of recent times, during the era of Kali Yuga. Those who have described the glory of Rama. The implication is, when you turn to devotion to God and you are inspired by so many devotees and the manner in which they develop devotion, you do not compare yourself. My devotion is much better because I describe the flute in a more poetic way. Rather, you are inspired in such a way that you feel indebted to everyone who has given description of divine glory. Because all that has added up to your inspiration. Think of it. भय जे आही जे होई हैं आगे, प्रणवों सब ही कपट सब त्यागे. All those inspired poets who were in the past and who are going to be in future, I offer my adorations without any grudge or without any hesitation. Point to understand, this is called quality called mudita. You develop good quality and enjoy seeing that quality in others. And even if others don't have that quality, keep the mind positive that one day they will develop those qualities. So the end result is your mind is joyous in relation to yourself, in relation to others. Mudit man. And the more mudit man, greater the devotion. Sing the praises of God with a joyous mind, or sing the praises of God with a sinking mind. But in practice, don't worry. No matter whatever is the state of mind, sing the praise. Only understand that if mind becomes joyous, your bhajan will become more effective. And bhajan has its mysterious effect on your mind. It turns a sinking mind into a joyous mind. And then it begins to float along with the joyous mind. So try to understand that aspect also. Hohu prasanna dehu bardanu, sadhu samaj bhaniti sanmanu, jo prabandha buddha nahi adarahi, so shamavadi kabala kavika karahi. All of you, be pleased with me and give me the boon that my composition will be accepted by sadhu samaj, by the congregation of saintly people, by aspirants. A poetic composition that is not accepted by those who have saintly nature, that composition is useless. The writer of that composition is Dalvit, Murk. And all the composition is a vain effort, lots of perspiration without inspiration. On the other hand, simple composition, Sabko Sanamati De Bhagwan, it's very simple. Simple compositions that have tremendous effect on your mind. And it has been composed by sages. So sages have given the compositions like prasad. They have put in that composition their spiritual glory, spiritual potency. All the mantras have similar. Om Triambakam Yajamahe. There is a potency, like in homeopathic medicine, potency increases. As devotion of people increases more and more, potency behind the mantra increases. So that composition that does not follow through this, what I am describing about the mystic potency, that composition is of no use. Singing the praises of foxes and snakes, etc. I'm just joking. कीरति भनिति भूति भली सोई, सुरसरि सम सब कहाँ हित होई, राम सुकीरति भनति भरदेसा, असमंजस असमोहि अंदेशा. Kirti, fame. If you have developed a lot of fame, and your fame is not bringing any goodness in the heart of people, only impressing them how wonderful you are, how many millions you have gathered, how successful you are in your business and all that. That kirti, that type of fame is useless. But a fame where you have touched someone's heart, saved a person from committing suicide, saved a person from becoming a thief and a robber, if you have urged people to move in a divine way, if you have become instrumental in being good to yourself and good to others, that is the real fame of yours. So having fame and your writings, expressions, verbosities, verbal expressions of yours. You may be a tremendous writer, great poet, literary giant, but if your writings do not instill in the mind of the people love of God, if that does not reduce the pressure of grief and sorrow, it doesn't awaken the spiritual aspiration, then what's the use? Therefore, you find greatest of writings in scriptures, they are simplest. Even in the biblical world, blessed are the poor, for they will find the kingdom of heaven. These writings of sages, Kirti, Kavita and Sampatti, everybody goes after these attainments, to have a lot of fame, to bring out to the world a lot of compositions, literary expressions, and impress on the people with their wealth. Kirti, Kavita and Sampatti. But all this is considered blessings for the masses. But if they do not remove the impurities of your heart, they are not blessings. In my case, Tulsidas says, may we have all this like the Ganges. May my composition be like the Ganges river. Whosoever enters the Ganges, all his sins are washed away. But then he puts in a little suspense in his writing. How am I to write the composition describing the glory of God? Glory of God is like vast ocean. And my capacity of my tongue is so little. How can we expect a sparrow to describe the glory of God? That's again two aspects to understand. Human personality is just so little. A reflected sun in a jar. The whole setup is so little in this vast universe. But the reflected sun has its source in the sun. So you are seeing both littleness, so little that it's, of course, not even to talk about it. At the same time, so great that that reflected sun relates to the sun. Your personality with body-mind complex is so little. But the soul in you is a ray of God. So on one side, I am so little. On the other side, God who is so great. Being a devotee of God, it becomes possible for you to bring the glory of God for yourself and for masses. Tumhari kripa sulabh so more, siyani suhavari tata patore. O great poets of all times, by your grace, this may become possible for me, even though I am little. And God's grace is boundless. Yet, it will become possible by your grace. How will it become possible? Just like repair a silken, if you have a rough cloth, coarse cloth that looks like a, there is nothing here, but anyway. Coarse cloth, it has rough like a rug. Now, if you put on that rug a decking of silken threads, a silken work, the silken work shines brighter, and that rug has played a part to highlight that silk. Tulsidas compares himself with a rug. And what he composes is a silken work. And may that work shine. So don't look at me, the rug. Look at what this silken dressing has done. And with this I will conclude. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Shri Ramaya Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.